Hey everyone, welcome back to another week rotations video. We're on now week, I believe, number 74 in this series where I'll show you everything I've worn off the weekends, everything from my collection. So some things may be designer, some things may be niche or indie, but most of them are gonna be cheapies because that is what I enjoy collecting and what this channel is all about. Excuse me, being in more comfortable clothes. I'm chilling at home, have like a 3-day weekend off on Monday for Memorial Day, so I'm just relaxing, taking it easy, working on a lot of other videos, especially after this one, a lot of editing, a lot of things I'm trying to plan for the future. So I'm just relaxing, taking it easy, and just trying not to worry about a whole lot. But I do want to go through my week rotation list I got here, and the one I wore starting off on the first day of last week, actually the first work day of last week, because I already went from Sunday to Sunday because of the vacation that I went on last weekend. And on that vacation, I happened to go to a Target, went through their finery men's selection, and didn't really find anything that stood out to me, but I found this, didn't have anything that smells like this, and it's a very popular scent profile. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up and just see what I think about it, and I do really like it. Again, from the finery collection, and this one is called Yourself, and I'm pretty sure you can already guess just by the name alone what this is meant to be a clone of. And if you guessed why I sell it myself, you'll be absolutely correct. And if you don't know it just by the name, you'll know it by the smell. Very much has that same, white floral, clean laundry, orange blossom, ambery, warm, sweet, dry down, very clean musks all through there. It smells like, clean laundry, linens, things like that. Very modern, very up to date. Of course, the myself profile is literally everywhere. Like everyone's having their own twists on it or just trying to clone it outright, which is what this is trying to do. And even through the bottles, the reflective bottles and things like that, it's just crazy, but it's definitely one of the best selling men's fragrances in the most recent years, and it popped off quick. And it's because it's so easy, clean to wear, and it appeals to that kind of modern, kind of unisex, kind of leaning masculine, kind of aspect to it, kind of, more of the modern, slick, clean, groomed gentleman's kind of thing, while also not being too over masculine, being a little bit of like, metrosexual kind of deal. But still really like this one, great interpretation on it, which is really trying to be like an exact thing of that. Performance, it wasn't like excellent. It was like probably no more than 4 to 5 hours longevity with a very medium to low projection, but it's so cheap, you can just spray it up whenever. Not a bad $29 to spend on this. I know there's probably better clones out there that have better quality to them. I know, like, what is it, Armav's to Dubai Nights or Midnight, whatever it's called. I do want to get that one especially, but so far this one, small bottle, not bad, and I'm probably going to use it up just sparingly here and there, but a perfect one to wear for most of the year round, especially if you want a very clean feel about it. But yeah, not bad at all. If you have anything like this or any clones that you think are better or equal to this, let me know down in the comments what you think. And at nighttime, I don't think I really wore anything, or at least nothing noteworthy. So I'm gonna go on to the next day. Another one that I wore that I picked up while on my trip, and this is probably gonna be one of my highlight summer fragrances, or at least one of the best pickups that I've had this year as far as cheapy fragrances. I picked this up at a Burlington for like $34.99. It is a French Avenue fragrance, and this is one that is called Safari Breeze. I know I'm kind of late on the hype on this. Apparently, people have been talking about this for at least over a year because it came out, I think, last year or maybe a little before then. I absolutely love this. This is going to be featured in a lot of videos, hopefully, because man, this hits everything that I like and want in a summer fragrance. It's very fruity, sweet, very citric on the top. I think there's like blackcurrant in here, kumquat, bergamot, something around there. No, it has a mint note in the middle. You do get a little bit of a greenness, a little aromatic, fresh briskness in there. And as it dries down further, you get some clean, like musk, which you have to have those musk all the way through, like a sea salt minerality, marine kind of facet, and like a nice earthy oak moss. I think there's vetiver in here as well, so a clean but subtle woodiness, but still through and through what you get all those sweet, brisk, marine centered fruitiness in there. Very tropical, but not overly so, where you get like coconut and things like that. It's just very, very likable. Got compliments on this as well, and we'll talk about this a little later because I did wear it later in the week in replacement of another fragrance I was thinking about wearing. I do have a summer clone haul video I'm working on. It's going to come out hopefully sometime next month, so we'll see if anything in that video outshines this one. But so far, this is probably one of the best summer clones or fragrances, period, and one of my favorites that I have in my collection. I just really love it, and performance isn't bad at all. It isn't extrait de parfum, so you do expect it to have good longevity, which it does. It had like easily right at a little over 6 hours longevity. That was noticeable, and a nice medium projection all the way through, even though it is a pretty much medium to loud for the first couple hours. Fantastic quality. I think it's meant to be a clone of Tales from Zanzibar by Memoirs of a Perfume Collector. I don't know what the original one smells like. I do want to get a discovery set, buy them at some point so I can compare it, and plus I just want to try them out anyway. But man, I really, 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 really really love this. And like I was actually at that Burlington and I thought I had some things selected and picked out that I wanted to get. And then like on a shelf they had in the very back behind the counter of things that they hadn't put out yet, but that they had price tag. I saw something and I went back there. It reached in the very back of this shelf, pulled it out, and it said French Avenue. And then I saw the name. I was like, you know what? I want to get this instead, replace one of the other things I was going to get. And I'm so glad that I did not miss out on it, because man, I love this. If you want a good tropical scent that is not too masculine, not too feminine, good unisex, but with a slight masculine thing to it and appeal to it, and one that's very versatile for both day and night, anytime in the hot, warm weather, you gotta go with this one, guys. This one is phenomenal. That nighttime, I was tempted to wear Sephora Breeze again, but I didn't. Instead, I sprayed a different one on that I actually haven't worn a whole lot, and when I was wearing it, I was like, man, I don't know why I don't give this any more wears than I do. It is by Abercrombie & Fitch, and it is Away Weekend. So this is one that even if I get rid of all my other Abercrombie & Fitch stuff, aside from a couple, especially all the other ones from the Away line, I will probably not get rid of this one, because this is perfumed by Claude Durr, who is also the perfumer who's done all of Zaharoff stuff and all of his, you know, collections and releases and special editions and things like that. And just pretty neat to see, you know, his personality in a niche fragrance also reflected in a cheapy fragrance, because you can smell some similarities with how he likes to construct things, and I just think that's pretty cool. So I would more likely not get rid of this one, but it's one that comes across very sweet lavender on the top, very aromatic, slightly green, but not as green as you'd think, especially if you're looking at the bottle, and a nice little bit of a powdery nature in there, soft woods, a little bit of a fresh muskiness in there as well. If I had to compare this to anything, I would say this is like a more inexpensive twist version of Prada's Paradigm, and not just because of the color, but you know, because it does look like it, but the overall scent profile does lean to that. So if you like Prada Paradigm, you want a cheaper alternative or something similar to it, this is a great one to go with. It's not the best performance, or at least not that I experienced from that night, but it's one that did, you know, was noticeable for majority of the night, like easily going on 4 to 5 hours, but you can always respray this and refresh with it. One that's good for most of the year round, probably aside from the super high heat, but definitely like cool summer nights, spring anytime, fall anytime. This is a great one to go with. Really recommend this one, and it's one that not a lot of people talk about, especially talk about Abercrombie & Fitch stuff, and I think this is actually probably one of the more recent releases that they have in any of their, you know, rack store finds. But yeah, one I recommend picking it up, and you can find it for super cheap at rack stores. Then the next day on Wednesday, this one I wore both day and nighttime, because I knew I was wanting to give it a full wear. That way I can actually, you know, talk about it way more in the future and put it in some videos so I can get more experience with it. And it's one of the other ones that I did pick up from that same Burlington when I went out and about while I was on vacation. It's one that I've been looking at getting for a while, but man, it's for a dirt cheap price that I could not pass up. And it's from the Fakar line by Lattafa, and this one is Fakar Platine. So this is apparently a clone or inspiration of YSL's Y Elixir, or it used to be called Lilixir, and I have very, you know, seldom experience with that fragrance. I've smelled it in retail stores and kind of sprayed it a little bit and just didn't really know a whole lot about it. Didn't think a whole lot about it. I know it's overpriced and it smells great overall, but I really need to smell that one and this side by side so I can get a better comparison. But overall, this one smells very close to the original Fakar, very close to the YSL Y profile and DNA overall, which means it is cloning, you know, a Y, you know, flanker. So yeah, it's meant to be, you know, smelling like that, but it has a little more of a soapiness to it than I was expecting. It definitely doesn't have that oud kind of darker woody aspect like people expect or sometimes get out of the Y Elixir, but it does have a lot more fruitiness, like a tropical kind of factor to it. I think there's actually guava in here, which does add a nice little twist to it. So if you want a more sweet, fruity tropical twist on YSL Y, you still get the aldehydes, you still get the muskiness, and like I said, that soapy aspect in there, a little bit of aromatics, and a very soft woodiness in the base. It's a great one to go with, easily wearable for most of the year round, especially the warmer weather, and I did really like it. Like I said, I wore it the daytime at work, I wore it at nighttime before going to a midweek church service, and it was great for both occasions. Fantastic performance for the price, like right at that average mark, maybe a tad under 6 hours, you know, as far as noticeable, you know, longevity, but it still was there, and projection was pretty good as well. It's just great overall, and like finding this for under $20, you definitely can't beat it, especially for the quality, and I know it'll only get better over time as it matures on my shelf. But yeah, one that I highly recommend, and it's been hyped for a reason, so definitely pick it up if you see it out and about. Then the next day, we went with an Old Faithful that I literally wore the majority of last year, and some of you might be tired of me talking about it, but it is really just that good by Off and On, and it is Supremacy Collector's Edition. Absolutely love love this. Of course, a clone or inspiration of Aventus Absolute, or Absolute Aventus, depending on how you say it. Very much in that same profile, but with an added white floral cleanliness in there, a little more sweetness as well. Not the same kind of oak moss depth or caramelized kind of sweetness that you get from that, or even, you know, our moss Peugeot 1 or Pursue, however you pronounce that as well. But you still get all the oak moss in here, and you get a good bit, like I said, the white florals, a good bit of fruity, tropical kind of briskness at the top, a little bit of sweetness from that as well, a good bit of like that citric burst as well. And as it dries down, a lot of muskiness, clean musk, a little heavier and more woods, not really any smokiness, but you do get that white floral cleanliness and oak moss in the base and all that jazz. It just is fantastic. A great masculine white floral scent with, again, you know, all the oak moss and fruits and woodiness right behind it. And it has a little bit more depth to it than you expect, a little more darkness to it if you want it for nighttime, brightness if you want it in the daytime. Great for all year usability. Just be careful if you're going to spray this, especially if it's more than just a couple times, if you're in the high heat of summer, because performance on this is really good. Very loud projecting for majority of the fragrance, very long lasting, like way above average, above that 6-hour mark, especially on clothes. It'll go on and on, but it's a compliment getter as well. I've gotten compliments on this even through drive-through windows. If I've gone through to get something to eat, people smell it through there and compliment me on it as well. And I think I told that story last time I wore this, but it's great. It's easy to wear, and it's also much more available and affordable than it was when it first came out. And even though it's called Collector's Edition, it's still gonna be around at least for a good while. So pick it up while you can. If you like the original, you know, not only intense, you'll definitely love this one. Not as blackcurrant heavy and tart or even, you know, earthy oak moss as that one. It's a lot more cleaner, a little sweeter, more airy, but still one that is just as versatile and just as great in quality. And then at nighttime, spent a majority of the night just editing, also spend time with family, eating, watching a movie, and things like that. And so I wore one that's a great one for date nights in the summer and spring, for any time in the warmer weather. And I just really want to get a fuller ball of this. I got this in a recent, you know, discovery set thing that I opened up on one of my live streams I had probably a few months ago by now. All the other stuff is pretty much cold weather, but this one is easily the warm weather version of those. It is by Gulf Orchid in their Sweet Heaven collection, and this one is called Sweet Heaven Ice. This is one that actually has a bit of a similarity to Bad Boy Cobalt by Kayleen Herrera. If you took that DNA and mixed in a little bit of the sweetness that you get from Angel Share and Kamra and things like that, like a combination between the two, making that sweetness but freshening up a little bit. There's actually a little bit of almost like a, you know, I think I have it back here, but Lattafa's Atlas or Maison Alhambra's Megara or Eau de Paris and Megamare, that kind of marine, oceanic, almost a little bit of that funky sea saltiness in here as well, like a combination of all those. Basically, you're taking the, you know, Kamra, you know, Angel Share profile and just really freshening it up with a little bit of citrus, with a little bit of a marine, ozonic, oceanic kind of sea salty effect to it as well, and having a little bit of a ambery warm base with a lot of clean musks. It smells amazing though. Like, you have that sweetness that also lasts a good bit, but it's not too sweet, not too cloying, not overbearing where you can't wear this in the summertime. Probably wouldn't wear it in the like blasting, scorching heat out in the sun of summer, especially if you really spray it up, because it will get cloying. But like indoors or nighttime, casual, going out with friends, watching a movie, you know, hanging out, or date nights, perfect for that. I actually really dig the twist on this. I mean, it sounds great anyway, doesn't it? Angel Share, but fresher, like even more fresh than the on ice version they have, which you think is what it is, but it's not really like that. But still, great, fantastic. Want to get a full ball of this, and I'm pretty sure a full ball of this won't be that expensive online either, and performance is actually really good. I smelled this even on myself the next morning after waking it up, and well, even the next day on the dirty clothes that I had, I sprayed some of this on, so easily like way above 6 hours, 8 hours, even 10 hours of longevity. Of course, it depends on what you're doing, but if you're just chilling and relaxing, it will last with you as long as you need it to that nighttime. But yeah, absolutely lovely stuff. Definitely recommend picking this up. And then the next day, on Friday, last day of the work week, decided to take a little bit of break from the clones and the cheaper end fragrances, and decided to go with one that actually isn't that bad expensive online from discounters, but one that still is a designer fragrance, and I really do like this. I want to get all the ones that are flankers of this as well, but it's by the company of Brioni, and it is Brioni for Men Eau de Parfum. This is one that people keep saying it was very fruity in the opening and all this other kind of stuff, and I used to not get that, but now after wearing it again, and it kind of exposed my nose a little bit to other things, I do get that fruitiness in here. You get a noticeable apple note on the opening, a little bit sweet, but more just a fruity aspect, very green, a lot of greenness in here, a lot of herbaceous aromatic notes in here, and a good bit of violet, which it seems like anytime violet is added into anything, it just instantly makes it a little more classy, masculine, gentleman, sophisticated. I don't know what it is about the note itself, but it does have a good, clean, piercing floral nature to it that almost has like an ozonic, fresh kind of feel to it, and a little bit of a earthy dry down to it, along with that woodiness and that aromatics, and almost something that's ambery, warm, but not really too sweet, and nothing that's like too much, you know, where it's like cold weather appropriate. It's more of a like more musky kind of effect to it, while also being very clean and ozonic. But I do really like this, and it gets a little bit as all that dries off to just basically being like dried greens and things like that. But I love it. It's fantastic, very easy to wear for anyone who wants a good, fresh, brisk fragrance for the spring, summertime, day or night. It just has that feel about it. I know they have more cold oriented stuff, they have more way hot, fresh oriented stuff, and I want to get both of them, but this one here is a good right down the middle. If you're a guy who wants to have a little more of a, you know, sophisticated, mature, kind of classy fragrance for everyday kind of wear, this is a great one to go with. Absolutely love it, fantastic. Like I said, one that's not too cheap online, but not as expensive as it could be. So yeah, definitely recommend trying this out. And then that Friday night, I actually got off work early, so decided to go out with the family, just myself, wife, and baby, and we got something to eat before doing our usual Friday night routines. And my wife and me and my son to wear matching beach shirts, and it's an outfit that we didn't get to wear on vacation, and she was wearing a beach dress, so we all had a nice little beachy, summery vibe about it. So I decided to wear something that matched that vibe perfectly, and so I wore Safari Breeze again by French Avenue. Like I said, I wore it again that night, and or later in the week. And man, I still love it. And while we're out eating, sitting down, just, you know, enjoying everything, I actually had one of the waiters come up to me and say, like, man, you know what? I've been smelling you ever since you came in. You smell amazing. What are you wearing? So I had to fill him in on what I was wearing. So I actually got a good compliment out of it. I'm not sure if he knew how to take it because I told him how, you know, cheap it was and what it was, and, you know, the name of it and things where I found it and things like that. And maybe he's expecting something to be way more ludicrous or expensive, but hey, hopefully he goes to pick it up and smells great himself. So yeah, did get a unsolicited compliment out of this, and I thought it actually wore off way quicker than that. Apparently I was just going nose blind to it, but I guess him and my wife and everyone else could smell it as well, because she also said it smelled good, which is always a nice thing to hear. But yeah, dude, just like I said, if you need any more advertisement out of this, just go ahead, go out there and buy this. It smells amazing. Or buy it online, which should be around a similar price. I got it for like $35 at Burlington, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, well under that $40 mark. So if you can't find it for the same price, just go ahead and get it. Again, it is that good. And then today, I'm actually just chilling here at the house. I have a lot of editing to do. Got up early, did a walk and worked out and things like that. So I'm deciding not to wear anything in case I find something good in the rack store haul that I just picked up. So that's all the things I've worn all through the week. If anything in here stood out to you, or anything you have any questions about, or maybe you bought and you liked it, or you didn't like it, or you're about to buy it and you just want to know about it, let me know all your concerns and questions and commentaries down in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to see what you think about all this, or if there's anything in here that you're like, hey, if you like how that smells, I think you'll like this other one as well. Let me know all your suggestions in the comments as usual. And per usual, if you're watching this video and you like what you've seen here, please consider giving the video a like and a thumbs up. Let me know to keep making these week rotation videos. And if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you do like what you've seen here or what you've seen elsewhere on the channel, I encourage you to please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see all the other things I'm working on in the background, because trust me, I have a lot of planning, a lot of diligent work I'm trying to put in to get you all the videos out there for all of you to watch and enjoy. And I want you to be right along with me on this cheap and inexpensive fragrance journey, and hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And as always, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here and for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.